Alright, welcome back. Today we are doing a basic HTML layout. So this one follows after the What is HTML video. So if you haven't watched that, maybe watch the What is HTML first. But if you want to jump right into how to make a basic HTML layout, then this is how we'll do it. So I'm just using CodePen.io to test this code, which basically allows you to type in code here and it will display it down the bottom. If you want, you could also load up a notepad or a text editor and you can actually type in the HTML into the text editor and just save it as .html, and then you can drag it into a browser and display it that way as well. The only issue with doing it that way is that you do have to reload the browser every time, whereas CodePen, you can type and it will display as you type, kind of. So you put an X there and it will just compile the document and show it down the bottom. So it makes it a bit easier if you're editing HTML. And then you can just copy that into a HTML file later if you wanted to. So anyway, let's start with the basic HTML layout. So we're going to start this layout with a doctype. And this just looks like doctype. And we are doing HTML doctype. So with doctypes, you can basically defines that the document is a HTML5 document. So it's just doctype HTML. It will work without this, but that is the best practice to add that if you are working with HTML5. And the next element we will add is a HTML element. So that's HTML. This starts off the HTML document. And this is everything in the HTML will be within this tag. So then we will add also a closing tag here. So just HTML, and to close the tag we just put a slash. So everything within these two is in the HTML document. So you want everything to be kind of contained within there. I don't know why we've got a exclamation point there. We have unsaved changes, so we will call this basic HTML layout, and then I will share this for you to use later if you wanted to. Alright, and the next element we have, let's actually have a look at why we use a HTML tag, and it is basically the root of the HTML page, so everything should be within that tag. And the next element we have is a head tag, head, and then this loads things in the head of the document. It doesn't actually have any formatting on it, but we have a head opening and closing tag, and then in your head you'll put things kind of like things that need to load first, or your meta tags and things like that. We can go through that later maybe, but for this simple basic HTML we'll just leave our head tag with one element in it, and that will be the title tag, which is then the title of the HTML document. I'm pretty sure I saved that. Let's save. Alright, and then this title here, so basic layout. And then this here will actually display up in the tab above, which you can't see, but this kind of labels the HTML document. So yeah, when you see browser tabs and it has a title, that's where it gets the title from. So you've got your HTML head title, and then we will move into another tag, which is the body tag, and then we're going to open this body tag, and then we're going to close it down here. And you can see how I actually add tabs just to make it a little bit easier to kind of follow where the layout is. So you can see that the HTML is obviously in line with that, and then the head is in line with this, and then we kind of indent the title in there as well. Just makes it a bit easier to read your code later on. So then in our body tag, it's a container for all of the kind of visual contents in the page. So this, it won't display here. So we put in the title, but that will only display in the top of the screen. And then anything in the body, if we just put an X in here, the X will display down here. And it does actually come with margin and padding on HTML and body by default, usually using the browser's settings. So within the body tag, we can now start our document. And usually the best thing to put in the body tag is a H1, and this is a heading 1 tag. So this will be the largest and the main heading of the document. So we're going to call this one hello, and then it should display hello down the bottom. Can move this up a bit. You can't see it in my zoomed layout. I can move that up a bit as well. So now we have our body, and then a H1 and a closing H1, and that's just the main head tag. I think head tags go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not sure, they probably go even higher than that. But it is kind of just the order of the headings, and they are small all the way from H1 to H6. The good thing about CodePen is it actually does open and close some tags for you some of the time. And then if we wanted to put a subheading below that, we could actually just put in a H2 and close H2, and we can type in world, and then we have hello world in our document. And then, so these are our two headings. Obviously they look pretty averagely formatted because we haven't had any. This is just using default kind of formatting. And then we can add a P tag and say this is our paragraph. I kind of like to close the tags before I write the content in there because, I don't know, otherwise sometimes you forget to close them and then it breaks the HTML. And so within our P tag we will type, this is my first document. And there we go, that is our whole basic HTML layout. So see, that wasn't very hard, was it? And we've got doctype is HTML, then we've got the main HTML tag, and you can see it kind of highlights as you select it. Shows you the opening and closing. Then we've got our head, which has got the title in it for the top. Body, H1, so 2 H tags for headings, and then P for our paragraph element. And that is it for a basic HTML layout. I think in the next one we'll go through adding a Google font and making the basic HTML layout look a little bit nicer than using Times New Roman and the default settings. So yes, that is all. Join me in the next video, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.